I want to just, before I hit my saint, I just want to point out this was on November the 1st, was when Harry Truman back in 1951 proclaimed Thanksgiving. They had a
Oh, that's
proclamation
cool.
of Thanksgiving back in 1951.
I didn't know that.
Is
Uh, the other pictures I have there up there, before I talk about my saint, sister's 60th reunion is the picture on the bottom. I don't know, sister, do you want to say anything about that?
uh no, Chuck.
Okay, that's fine. Uh, my 60th is coming up in a couple of years.
Oh,
So that would be the big event. Oh, by the way, one of my classmates, I'm keeping track of deaths. I had another death from my class in the last couple of days, so I had to post that. Sister, the top picture there, um, can you comment on that? I forget what the date of that. Well, I can tell you what the date of that is. But do you know anything about that picture on top? I'd like to.
can you enlarge it or anything? I
Oh
don't think
yeah, I can
I can't
enlarge it.
even
Yeah, I'm gonna
tell
enlarge it.
what it is. I don't know who
Let's
it.
see. See. There we go. Finally figured out how to do this. Let me get this
Oh,
out of the way.
oh, that's a nice picture.
I'll tell you. I'll give you the date if
Ah,
come right to you. Let's see.
is that you on the far right, sister?
I can't make them out right now.
They're kind of small.
I don't think I can make it much bigger than that. You can't
That's a nice
see.
picture.
You can't see. It looks like you're at the Villa Maria in the community room. And
Oh,
there is sister on the right.
yeah, that's what I thought. That's a nice picture.
Let me see what it's. Oh, this is October 29th. Yeah, I always look at anniversaries. 2000. Yeah, that's 24 years ago, sister. Do you know
It
the people at an event? You were all sitting there together.
looks like Sister Consolata in the dark jacket, and I'm right next to her. And to the left of her, I think it's Therese Quinn, but I'm not sure. And then there's Margaret Eben after that. Hers,
Oh, okay. Well,
she's
thank
she's
you
real
for,
light.
was there
Margaret,
any special
Margaret,
occasion?
I don't know what it was. Mm,
All right.
I,
Okay, that's fine. Um, my saint is Saint Charles. Do you want to know
Ah,
anything about him?
no, that's awesome.
This is he was canonized on November the 1st, 1610.
Hmm.
Because he was Charles, and because this is the anniversary of his canonization on November 1st, 1610. His feast date is actually, I think, November the 4th, so 3 days from now. But he
that's
was
true.
Cool.
actually he was canonized by well, first of all, he was the Cardinal Archbishop of Milan, Italy, okay? And the Pope that canonized him was Paul the Fifth. I wouldn't expect anybody to remember.
Um,
Uh,
I I lived with his sister Mary Charles, as you know, for a long, long time. And at the end, there were just the two of us. After there were five that moved across the street into that apartment. But then toward the end, we were alone for quite a few years. And that was her patron saint. So
really?
it was always her feast day, November 4th, that we celebrated.
Oh,
Going
that's really interesting, sister.
going out to eat. That was our we celebrated was going out to a restaurant, someplace to eat instead of cooking it at home in the apartment. So, but his name actually was Saint Charles the Reformer,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
he
Wow. I picked one out that you know something about. That's
Yeah,
kind of neat.
that's awesome.
Who would have thought that 1610 you would it would that we would have something in common?
Yeah,
That's great.
Mr.
Yeah, he
Mary.
was, like Sister said, he was a reformer. He was part of the what did you call it? The anti-Reformation. Reformation was when the Protestants decided to go against the Pope. So
Right.
yeah, that's exactly right. But I'll have to be honest. I only picked him up because he was St. Charles. I said, I wonder if there's a St. Charles, and that's the guy I picked out. And the other thing I like about Charles, oh, by the way, my favorite king is Charles also. And because when I was in Prague, the Czech Republic, I remember walking across, it was quite impressive walking across that bridge. It was called the Charles Bridge after
Oh, that's
After King Charles, and they had all kinds of statues of saints
Oh,
along the bridge. It's quite a was quite impressive. So that's kind of stuck in my brain.
hmm
what's the name of the bridge?
Charles Bridge.
Carlsbad. Okay, okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's good to know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was quite impressed. Well, for the longest time, that was the only way to go from, the castles on the other side of Charles River. And it was the main uh East Eastern and Western Europe is divided by the Charles River, apparently. And
Huh.
so the only way they could get across was over that bridge. So I think there's more than one way to get across the bridge now. I mean, you could always fly, I suppose, but
Hmm.
no, I'm being lighthearted. But sister, that is phenomenal that you had that little story to go along with my saint. So I'm even more attached to him now.
yeah, I'm sorry I didn't even bring up about your patron saint before
Oh,
the.
okay. No, it's quite okay. Let me comment on other saints. Well, I had just searched because I know there are other feast days that were cherished. The one I picked out before everybody arrived was Sisters, the Feast of Christ our King. And let's see. Yes, today is November 1st, All Saints Day, also known as All Hallows Day, Feast of All Saints, the Feast of All Hallows is a solemnity of all saints, and Hallowmas is a Christian solemnity, celebrate in honor of all the saints of the church, whether they are known or unknown. I remember in grade school discussing um, All Saints Day because it comes the day after Halloween, so it's kind of like Halloween is kind of a anti-Christian thing.